Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at Fox 5 News Live. I'm Jasmine Cornell here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. And Alex, you're here to talk about our weather forecast. It's been cold.
Yeah. It's been some cool starts. I even had a frost on Sunday morning up across the Northeast Georgia mountains. And now not so much, right? We're warming up here through the afternoon. And Bryce, if we could actually do graphic 7 there, we're going to be looking at the forecast here for the next couple of hours. So let's start with Fox 5 Live Viper right now. Nothing really to speak of, and that's going to remain that way here through the afternoon and then into the evening hours. It's not really going to be until late tomorrow where we look at a scattered shower risk, but then a better chance of rain, it looks like, by the time we get towards Wednesday night into Thursday. So 74 now in Atlanta, 73 in Covington. These numbers 5 to 10, 11, 12 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, and that's the general trend now through the afternoon. We're going to keep this distance from yesterday's temperature, if you will, continue to run about 10 degrees above where we were 24 hours ago, which will send us into the upper 70s and maybe even a low 80 for a handful of people here through the afternoon. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies across metro Atlanta and North Georgia before we see that clear out into the evening tonight. So in the days to come, we've got low 80s for tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo, 80 on the dot, 83 for Wednesday, and then in towards Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Notice temperatures running a bit cooler, all right, back into the 70s, and that's a function of a front that's going to come through late Wednesday into Thursday with maybe a couple of storms along with it. So over the next 7 days, here are your rain chances now. Notice I brought that Thursday rain chance up to 80%. The best possibility of that's going to be during the morning hours. Once we get into the afternoon, that rain chance begins to dwindle after the front moves through, but I would expect a wet Thursday morning commute. And in fact, let's time it out hour by hour and take a look. All right, so you saw Tuesday, tomorrow afternoon, you saw just 1 or 2 sprinkles across northern Georgia. The better chance, again, this is going to be Wednesday. During the daytime hours, dry. But then by 7, 8 o'clock, you're getting storms there in far northwest Georgia. Some of that begins to slip into metro Atlanta. There's the midnight hour on Thursday, and then into the or really early morning hours. I call it mid-morning, 3 to 7 a.m., right? That's the middle of the at least time frame. You're getting waves of storms, but then some of that continues through the Thursday morning commute. So all of this to say, I would expect a wet Thursday morning here in metro Atlanta, maybe a stormy one. I think the degree or the severity of the storms, that remains to be seen, but it's nothing I'm overly concerned about. Once we get to the late morning hours, beginning to clear out. Down south of I-20, might hang on some rain during the daytime hours, but all of that will be out here by the time we get towards Friday. All right, so a 20% chance of rain on Saturday, 30% on Sunday. That, of course, is Mother's Day. There's some uncertainty on Sunday's rain chance. I don't expect it to stay at 30%. It's either going to go up rather dramatically or go away completely. So as we look, of course, over the next several days, we're looking at temperatures falling after that front comes through Wednesday into Thursday, but then also rebounding in towards Sunday, 81, your high temperature there for Mother's Day. And then as we work our way into the following week, Jasmine, I would just throw on your radar that I would expect some summertime heat to work its way back into the picture. Likely still low humidity, but numbers probably as high as 90, 91. Numbers we haven't seen yet this year is probably the better way to put it.
That sounds good to me. 90-degree weather. But hey, that Cinco de Mayo day weather, the forecast for that day looks amazing.
And you know what Joanne pointed out to me this morning that I just totally did not realize until 10 o'clock this morning? Cinco de Mayo is on Taco Tuesday.
It is on Taco Tuesday.
There you go.
Great weather, great tacos. Enjoy your Tuesday.
Yep.
All right, Alex, thanks. We're going to take a live look outside really quickly. Right now, we know that a press conference has started in DeKalb County where people there, residents, can expect to see a minimum wage increase. So right now, the CEO of DeKalb County is speaking. Let's go ahead and listen in.
That belief is what has guided the decision that I've made here today. And I want to say to everyone that a budget is a moral document. It determines your priorities. And we have prioritized DeKalb County employees. So today I am proud to announce that DeKalb County has increased our minimum wage effective immediately to $19 per hour. This was very important to us because here in DeKalb County, we are also in the middle of a pay and wage study. It is our intent to right-size individuals across the county who perform jobs and duties who deserve, plain and simply, more. This is about recognizing the dignity of work of hardworking people. And it's also about ensuring fairness across wages. And it's about positioning DeKalb County to recruit and retain highly skilled individuals. Because the truth of the matter is, it costs us more when we lose employees because of low salaries than it does to simply increase salaries and create a better working environment. The investment that we're making in the rise of our minimum wage will actually affect 1,400 county employees. And these are employees across all departments of DeKalb County. And for the record, we have a total of 34 different divisions. And also we are addressing salary compression to ensure that experience, tenure, and responsibility is adequately reflected across pay structures. When we complete our pay and class study for all departments, we will take a more comprehensive approach, because that study is very important, because what we found is that over the years, job descriptions have changed, but in many instances, salaries were not keeping up with what we consider to be a national average and a living salary. So if we want to deliver excellent service to our residents, we must first invest in the individuals who are delivering those services. This action strengthens our ability to retain our top talent, and it also places DeKalb County in a unique position for which I am very proud. It makes DeKalb County amongst the highest paying minimum wage institution within governmental entities, and I'm very proud of that. So strong government definitely starts with a strong workforce, and DeKalb is committed as a county to making our employees feel valued and also showing that through the salaries that they earn. And that means it's our responsibility to provide a fair compensation. At this time, I will turn over the microphone to our interim Director of Human Resources, Jadia Haynes, who worked very closely with us. And I'd also like to challenge other jurisdictions to lean in towards providing a decent and fair wage. Many people that may see this press conference don't realize that minimum wage is $7.25 across the United States. And many hardworking people are faced with the challenge who work 40 hours each week of providing for their families, and it is simply not adequate. So I urge everyone to lean into their budgets and do what is right by hardworking people who are on the front lines, whom our country, our community, and whom DeKalb County rely on each and every day. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. My name is Jadia Haynes. I'm honored to serve as DeKalb County's Interim Human Resources Director. On behalf of the employees, I want to express our sincere gratitude to Madam CEO and the Board of Commissioners for their continued investment in our workforce. This increase, as the CEO mentioned, positions DeKalb as minimum wage comparable county government in the metro Atlanta area. The adjustment was structured into two parts. First, all regular status employees earning below $19 an hour were brought up to the new minimum county wage of $19 an hour. 563 employees were impacted. Second, compression adjustments were applied to employees earning up to $22.68 an hour, ensuring that employees already earning just above the new minimum maintain appropriate pay separation. 865 additional employees benefited from this step. In total, 1,428 regular status employees, both full-time and part-time, received a pay increase, which was reflected in their May 1st paycheck. These adjustments reach nearly every function of county government, including public safety, courts and legal, infrastructure, our community services, administrative services, and other essential services. Our employees show up for this community every single day, and today we showed up for them. Thank you.
All right, thank you both. We will now open for questions. Questions from the media. Please state your name, the outlet that you're with, and who you're directing your question to.
Hi. There you go. Hi there, Ray Yerena from Fox 5. Just a question for the CEO. How much total investment from this budget compared to last is this going to cost taxpayers? Like, how much extra money is DeKalb County going to spend on labor now that this is in effect?
Yes, I will allow TJ Siegler to answer that question.
Hello. Yes, it's about $2.7 million.
2.7. Is there any tax increase? Is there any tax increase associated with that?
No.
And I'm very proud to say what has happened here is called a priority. We, as a part of my second executive order was for fiscal accountability. So in many ways across DeKalb County, we have cut the fat. We have to first take care of people. When I walked into office, we had lost 385 police officers during a 4-year period. We had played triple overtime for 3 years. We redirected those funds to increase salaries because no person should have to work for 50 or 60 hours a week, particularly in law enforcement, to earn a living wage, a fair wage, and a wage for which they're entitled if we look at national standards. So what we're doing here, right sizing, that just means we have to be good stewards of what we have, but in no way will this pay increase affect in any way DeKalb County residents. What it does is help us all because we're better able to retain employees because there is an inherent cost with training employees, with the recruitment of employees. And we can't afford to continue losing institutional knowledge and individuals who have worked very hard. Now, one thing that we didn't talk much about was the compression component, because when you see a raise in salary, you must always be very mindful of other individuals who may be above that minimum threshold, who have given, in some instances, decades of service. And what message does that send if you go in and right-size salaries for individuals that have walked through the door, but you've never given consideration for people who've been on the front line and working alongside you for a decade? So I'm very proud that we right-sized over 800 employees to ensure that they felt valued. It's not enough to simply raise salaries. You have to consider compression to make sure that you've done what's fair and equitable to all people.
Any other questions?
Hi, y'all. I'm Zoe with Decatur-ish. I have a question probably for the HR director, but whoever it's most appropriate for. I was just curious with the increase for those that were below 19 up to 19, for the full-time and part-time employees, I guess, what would that total impact be for them? On their next paycheck, how much of an increase would they see?
7.4% increase.
Do you have kind of what that means in terms of an average number? I'm not good with math, so I was just wondering.
We can send you an example, but I think the reason it's easier to give a percent is to be accurate, because we had employees that were all over the place. So applying that 7.4 as a multiplier to obtain their salaries, the new salary with the 19% increase is the math portion. But we'll send that over for you.
Any other questions?
And you guys talked about the training component. No doubt that DeKalb County can spend tens of thousands of dollars probably training one person to do this job. But how's the vacancy rate looking right now? Is that also another reason why you all decided to move forward with this pay increase?
For me, the main factor that determined the action is the fact that it was long overdue. When you look at salaries and you see individuals, and I'll be very specific here, who trudge through sludge on a daily basis, there are many individuals who perform jobs at some of our lowest salaries that those who are at the highest salary would take issue with doing. And that is not fair, because these are individuals who work very hard in positions that are often very difficult. It includes, in large degree, many of our sanitation workers as well. So with that being said, at this moment, and I will allow Director Haynes to come forward, but DeKalb County, by right-sizing salaries, and also we have invested a lot in people in terms of training. We are now up over 300% in the recruitment of police officers. I believe that at this moment, we have one of the most stable employment scenarios that we've had in a long time. And it has to do with the practices and making sure that people feel seen, heard, and valued. With what has happened here, I'd love to do even more. But again, we're sensitive to the fact that a budget only goes so far. So for me, this is the beginning of right sizing, and we're very excited about the the study that we're doing to determine the right size for the wages. And I am very excited because the pay in class study is nearing completion, and it's actually being completed a little bit ahead of time. So that will give us a better layout across DeKalb of where we need to invest in employees.
We have any other questions?
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming out. And again, let's get this out there. Maybe there's others who need to right size employees and their salaries, and don't forget compression. Thank you.
And you all just heard from DeKalb County leaders on the minimum wage increase. Some good news for residents of DeKalb County. The minimum wage increasing almost $1.50, which is some big news here. And we've known about this for a little bit. The jump is amongst the highest in the metro Atlanta area, going from $17.68 to $19 an hour. The adjustment appeared in employee paychecks dated May 1st, so a few days ago, and was approved as part of the fiscal year 2026 annual budget. We'll continue to follow the story and see how this impacts residents in DeKalb County. Time is 1:21. When we return, we'll check in with our Chris Rosenthal, who is watching volunteers build homes across Southwest Atlanta. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Jasmine Cornell. Thanks for joining us this streaming hour. Thanks for joining this news conversation. Remember, it is a news conversation, so if you have any questions or comments on the stories we're covering, feel free to weigh in. Let's go ahead and talk about what Fox 5 is working on today. There's Tanya Mendoza, our assignment manager, and she has a look at those stories. One big one happening early this morning, Tanya, 3 hospitalized, even a child involved with this fire.
That's right. Our Annie Mapp right now is working this story. So this happened overnight in DeKalb County on Rays Road. So around 4:30 a.m., there was reports of a fire. DeKalb County Fire Department responded. What they're saying is 7 people were inside the home. Fire crews worked for hours to extinguish the flames. Here's an update on the victims. Adult woman rescued from the home is in critical condition at an area hospital, and a young child was hospitalized for smoke inhalation. Family now reports the child is doing okay. The third person was treated for burns to the hand. So that's what we know on at least 3 of the victims. Captain Jason Daniels with the DeKalb County Fire Department confirms the cause remains unclear and it's under investigation. Jasmine?
Yes, a very sad story here and scary. I wish these people a speedy recovery and also that they find a home soon. The next story that we're covering deals with a murder suspect. Noonan police have arrested this person they've been searching for.
That's right. Doug Evans, who covers stories in that area, has an update on a murder that took place on March 31st over on Octavia Place in Noonan. So basically, the man who was 38 years old by the name of Hunter Williams was shot and killed on Octavia Place near the mailboxes in the middle of the street. It was a big deal in that neighborhood when it happened. We did a story at one point where they were looking for the suspect in this murder, Justin Owens. Well, now we can report that Justin Owens has been arrested. Doug Evans is going to have an update on all those details, and we'll hear from him a little later today.
Thanks for that update, Tanya. And we are less than 2 months, a little over a month away from the World Cup. Atlanta preparing to welcome thousands and thousands of visitors. And so we know that they held a mass casualty training event and press conference. Let's talk about that and what they shared with the public.
That's right. The Atlanta Police Department and the Atlanta Fire Department are holding a mass casualty training event this morning. It's going to actually continue it's been going on and it's happening over there near Centennial Olympic Park. Deidre Dukes is working that story. And we have a soundbite regarding what happened today at the press conference.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Assistant Chief Carvin Tice with the Atlanta Police Department. Thank you all for being here as we participate in our mass casualty training exercise. This is an exercise we do on a regular basis. We are kind of tailoring this one toward FIFA that's coming up, but this is something we do with our partners. And I want to thank my partners from FEMA, GEMA, Mayor's Office of Emergency Preparedness, Grady EMS, and the rest of our partners that are here. This training allows us to come together and really talk about what mass casualty looks like. Not only are the officers going to come and stop any threat there, but also just to provide the type level of care that the people need. So all the people you see behind me, these are the people that are going to respond to mass casualties. And when these officers and these people get to the scene, it's more of how are you and not who are you. And so that is what we're looking at today. You're going to see some dynamic training today, and it's a partnership between all the agencies you see behind me. And so thank you all for being out here, and I'll turn it over to Assistant Chief Simon from Fire.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Terrence Simon. I'm the EMS Assistant Chief for the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department. And today we're here, you're getting ready to watch a full-scale exercise where the number one thing is to stop the violence. After we stop the violence, then we want to save as many lives as possible. Today, we want to thank all of our partners from FEMA, from the Mayor's Office of Emergency Preparedness for being here so that we can show the world what we do here in Atlanta. It's only because of our training at the training center, the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, that we're able to get through some of these scenarios. We do it all the time, so we're well prepared. Thank you.
All right. So they are preparing for the World Cup here in Atlanta. It's even weird saying that out loud because for so many years, I always get excited about the World Cup. Never did I think I would be working in the same city where one would be taking place. So it's exciting news for everyone, but law enforcement wants to be prepared, and that's just what they're doing. All eyes will be watching in Atlanta. Jasmine?
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us to talk about what Fox 5 is working on today. We'll see you a little later. Moving forward, guys, pretty big initiative here in Southwest Atlanta. Starting today, thousands of volunteers are coming together. They're from around the world, and they're coming here to Southwest Atlanta to help build 24 homes in just 5 days, working with Habitat for Humanity. So let's get out to our Chris Rosenthal, who's there, and you've been able to see these volunteers work. I remember volunteering with Habitat for Humanity in the past, and so this is such a wonderful initiative, Chris. Chris, it looks like we can't hear you, so maybe something's going on with your mic. We'll try to catch up with you a little later if we can. Yeah, we can't hear you, so if we can catch up with you a little later, we will. Time right now is 1:30. When we return, we'll take a look at some of our top stories and even talk about what's trending on fox5atlanta.com. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. Let's go ahead and bring back in our Chris Rosenthal, who's watching volunteers in Southwest Atlanta work with Habitat for Humanity and build 24 homes in 5 days. Chris, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this initiative. I'm curious to know how they're going to do this in 5 days.
Well, a lot of volunteers. They have about 800 volunteers today, roughly about 1,000 volunteers each day coming out here to build these 24 homes. I'll just kind of pan around and show you what we're looking at here. This is just a small section of this, and they've been doing this a while, and they've made great progress here. I've been here all morning, and they've really gone from slabs and foundations to what looks like houses. From volunteering, one of the big moments moments here, highlight moments, is when you get to watch them actually raise the walls. That's a really big moment. You really start to see the houses take shape here. This is part of the Langston Park community. This is kind of unique for Habitat for Humanity because of this is not just one or two builds here or there. They're building a whole entire community. It'll be over 60 homes when it's all said and done. Really, building a full sense of community for home buyers to come in here. A lot of them are here on hand helping build their homes. They've gone through an extensive process to get qualified for this program. They do have a mortgage when it's all said and done. But again, like we were talking, this is a really big process. I mean, making all of this come together. And I got one of the guys here whose job it is to make sure all of this comes together, Mr. Blackstone here. Tell me, I mean, how on earth do you build 24 homes in 5 days?
Hi, Chris. With a year's worth of planning and commitment from the entire team. So, yeah, the logistics are an incredible task to undertake, but we've been working at it for the whole year, trying to get everything stored nearby so that when the job starts, it's at hand, and that we can be very efficient in making the most of the 1,000 volunteers a day that are out here on the job site.
And it really takes those bodies, huh?
It takes those bodies, those committed bodies. So what we got here is 1,000 really good people doing really good things. It's quite amazing. We've been blessed with a beautiful day, with a lot of great attitudes and willing to work. There'll be some blisters and some sweat, but we're going to get a lot done. And we're going to get these 24 homes well on the way to being complete by the end of the week.
And it's a variety of homes here, huh? Variety of different types.
Yes,
Tell me about that.
So we have our traditional single-family homes where we're standing in front of right now. These are the cottages that Atlanta Habitat's built for 43 years. And on both sides, you'll see our townhomes going up. Right now, these are in groups of 2. We'll also be building in groups of 4 and 6. This is the first time we've moved towards actually building multifamily homes. Once again, in an effort to make certain that we're holding on to affordability. Land is so precious.
We can walk this way a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, and tell me, this is unique for you guys. This is the biggest you've done in a very long time, huh?
This is the biggest Atlanta Habitat has ever done. This blitz build, the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter blitz build, is the Olympics of affordable housing all around the world, wherever it's been held. It's been held every year since 1984. It was last in Atlanta in 1988. We built 21 houses over in the Edgewood neighborhood. So this, of course, is Sylvan Hills. We're going to build our 24, and they're the first of 64 homes we're building in the Sylvan Hills neighborhood. Right, this is called Langston Park in Sylvan Hills.
And this is the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter work project. Part of what they started here. What do you think they would think of this going on here?
I think that President Carter would be right in the middle of it, driving nails. He's kind of the inspiration for most of us out here. In my opinion, the greatest ex-president ever, because he walked the walk, talked the talk. So he was passionate about it. He knew he could make a tangible difference.
How does it make you feel when you see these homes go up? And
well, number one, grateful to be part of it. Extremely proud of what my team's done, but just proud that there's so many incredible people willing to give up their time. These people are taking PTO. They're on vacation. They're taking a week off to come change people's lives, and they're committed to doing that. So yeah, it fills my heart.
It's wonderful. JB Blackstone, thanks for joining us. It's good work you guys are doing here. Again, it's been pretty amazing to see this go up. I mean, like I said, I've been here since the morning, and these houses just seem to have popped up out of nowhere. They're looking to turn the keys over if all goes to plan sometime in June. So pretty amazing that they could turn this over and turn this around so quickly. So again, 24 homes here, part of a bigger project, over 60 when it's all said and done. This is just one of the phases. And again, it takes thousands of volunteers. They'll be doing this all week here in Southwest Atlanta.
All right, Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Looking forward to your stories for the rest of this afternoon. We'll catch up with you a little bit later. Your time is 1:38. We'll continue coverage with some good news, and you don't want to miss the story. It's about a TV series. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining our news conversation here at Fox 5 News Live. Today marks the 65th anniversary of the Freedom Rides, the 1961 campaign that challenged segregation and interstate travel, that is, and helped ignite the civil rights movement. Recently, dozens of Atlanta area students traveled to Alabama to retrace those historic steps. Michael E. Collins, a board chair and interim president of the John and Lillian Miles Lewis Foundation, talked about their journey and why it still matters to Good Day's Elise Edie.
It's a milestone when you talk about 65 years. What does this mean to you personally and to the foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. 65 years history. It's so important for us to remember what's happened in the past. We can't forget the past. Congressman Lewis would always tell us that we have to remember what's happened in the past so that we can move forward. And so we at the John and Lillian Miles Lewis Foundation think about this through the eyes and lens of young people. We think about young people as agents of change. And this is a milestone to think about the conversation that's happening in our world today and knowing that young people are at the forefront of it. We foster and want young people to think through their next steps from learning from the history of many people who have paved the way.
Yeah, of course. And let's talk specifically about some of those young people. So you recently had the chance to travel with a group of Atlanta area students to Alabama. We mentioned retracing these steps and looking at the history of what happened and how it affects us as we move forward. So what were some of your big takeaways from that trip, and what did the students experience? What did they say about it?
They were so inspired. Our goal was to educate them, sensitize them to a time and a period of the past. And so we took 35 students and 7 teachers back through those steps of the civil rights movement. We visited Brown Chapel in Selma, Alabama. They crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge. They had the opportunity to visit Congressman Lewis's hometown, where he grew up. And then actually visiting Montgomery, where they had the opportunity to see the Freedom Riders Museum. They were so inspired. One young lady was so inspired that she had registered to vote last year as a 17-year-old and said that that was what she had done, but was really excited now to think through their next opportunity to vote. And so it was so many young people who felt that like this was necessary and they looked for more opportunities like this. Yeah. And so we at the foundation are hoping that we can inspire more young people in the next generation of good troublemakers.
Well, of course, it's one thing to read about these moments in history books and to watch videos on them, but it's another thing entirely to get to experience this in person. So why the focus on getting these young people there to be, in the streets, right in the area where this happened?
Right. Well, you said it right. I mean, actually, when you sit in a classroom, you learn about history. That's one unique perspective. But when you get people out of the classroom and you actually have a real life experience of traveling that Highway 80, where the marches from Selma to Montgomery march, and when you have an opportunity to sit in the room where Rosa Parks was, and you had an opportunity to visit the Church of Dr. King, it's a different experience. It's a different experience, and it means something more. And hopefully that these young people, again, will be inspired to be change agents or to continue to be change agents, because they are already in their own realm.
So you served for several years as an advisor to Congressman John Lewis. So what has this been like for you, to at this moment be leading his foundation?
It's an honor. I say it was an honor to serve Congressman Lewis as the Chief of Staff and Floor Assistant for 21 years. And I say it's still an honor to continue to uplift his legacy and the work that he and Mrs. Lewis has just devoted their lives and careers to. I truly am inspired still today. It's a different venue, different avenue in which I sit, but it's still empowering, and it's an honor.
Let's get back to the Freedom Rides, this being the 65th anniversary today. So for viewers who might not know the full history, obviously they've heard the words, they've maybe seen some of the archival footage of what happened. Why was this such a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement?
It was about equity, and it was about access. It wasn't just about transportation. It was about young people making a stand and coming together for change. And so it was just so important that they were able to do this in such a dramatic fashion. Many people lost their lives and were hurt. And so we need to, again, remember what happened during this period so that we can go forward, so that we can inspire young people as civil and civic engagement agents to become a different leader in today's world.
So well said. You know, for those watching right now who maybe want to get involved, they want to support the work that the foundation is doing. They want to do things so that more students can have the opportunity to experience history firsthand. What can they do to get involved and help out?
We'll definitely visit our website, the John and Lily Miles Lewis Foundation.org, and get involved. Become Good Trouble Agent. We are hosting our Good Trouble Gala in Washington, D.C. on June 2nd, and we look forward to welcoming everybody to come and join us as we honor 13 young high school students with scholarships. We are awarding community grants to Atlanta community organizations, and there's just so much work to do, and we invite you to come join us.
Very nice. Michael Collins with the John and Lillian Miles Lewis Foundation. Michael, thank you so much for being with us on the 65th anniversary of the Freedom Rides. We certainly appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
Of course, you too. And to learn more about the John and Lillian Miles Lewis Foundation, you can head to their website, johnandlillianmileslewisfoundation.org. We'll share a link on our website, fox5atlanta.com. Just look under the Good Day section.
Elise, thanks so much for covering the story. That was such a great story, guys, and we're going to continue with our good news this afternoon. The Octopus is about to have a very big summer, so thanks to a new film on Netflix. Remarkably Bright Creatures stars Oscar winner Sally Field, a great actress there, as a widow who bonds with a giant Pacific octopus. Very interesting. This movie starts streaming this Friday. Fox 5's Paul Milliken is going to give us an inside look.
Well, this is amazing. So we're behind the scenes at Georgia Aquarium right now, seeing Noodle in a totally new way. This is our very own remarkably bright creature. This is Noodle. Jessica.
Noodle.
This is amazing. Tell me about Noodle.
Yeah, so this is Noodle. She's a female giant Pacific octopus here at Georgia Aquarium. And what you're seeing here is actually us during a feeding session of Noodle. So she's going to be munching on today some squid as well as some fish that is called mackerel.
Yum. Now, you said before this orange basket is very important because Noodle knows when the orange basket comes out that it's feeding time, right?
Yes, absolutely. So this feeding basket for Noodle allows us to do a lot of different things. It's a training behavior that we're able to work on when she is very little and we first start taking care of her. But then at the same time, this is when we can do continuous weights on her. We can check and make sure that she's healthy and happy and just growing well.
Yeah, and getting to recognize that orange basket, I think, speaks to the intelligence of these creatures. I mean, really, how smart or intelligent are the octopus?
So Noodle, especially, and all giant Pacific octopuses, are incredibly smart.
Yeah.
So there's something that we always have to make sure that we're considering when caring for her and any of our octopus species. So she really likes puzzles. She can open a jar. We sometimes can put her food in a jar, and she'll open it to get the food. We'll also give her things like you can give her toys that you would give like a dog puzzle and things like that. You can actually give to her and she'll be able to open as well.
Oh, that is so fascinating. And do you, working with animals like this, do you feel like you sort of form a bond with them?
Oh, absolutely. So I've been working with Noodle ever since we received her last year. Back when she was only about 2 pounds, that's when I first started building a relationship with her.
That is incredible. So how much bigger is she going to get? Is she going to get bigger?
Oh, definitely. So she can actually get up to an arm span of around 14 feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Noodle, you've got some growing to do. I love her just curled up in there. What are some things you think would surprise people about a giant Pacific octopus?
I think one of the things is that, so she has about 250 suckers per arm. So that's about a little over 2,000 suckers. And they can all move independently from one another. And as you can see, she'll hold on to me and things like that. And so when she's doing this, she has chemical receptors that she can actually taste. And then she can tell the difference between you or I.
Oh, that is amazing, the way that she's just kind of putting them on your fingers and sort of tasting you a little bit. I love that. What does it feel like? Do you feel the suction?
Yes, absolutely. So you can feel the suction, and then you can actually actually, it's quite strong. She would be able to, if she wanted to play tug of war, I would not win.
Well, you said before, sometimes, of course, you have to go in there to do some care of the habitat, and she will come and play pranks on you, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you're picking up shells, she's going to try to help you. Or if you're doing the window, you're not doing it good enough.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, I am so excited that we got to see Noodle like this in a totally different way. And she's you kind of never know when she might be active, when she might not be active here at the aquarium, right?
Right. So they can be really reclusive animals. They typically like to be in caves. When they're out and about, that's when they would be hunting or looking for food or just exploring things. You'll see in her exhibit right now, she does have enrichment. So that will just give her different things that can change her environment from the day to day.
Yeah, keep her nice and stimulated. All right. Well, this is so cool, Jessica. Thank you for letting us be back here.
Of course. Happy to.
What a cool story here. Upcoming Netflix film starring the Octopus and then also Sally Field. So maybe you might be interested in seeing that when it hits Netflix this Friday. Let's go ahead and talk about what's happening in downtown Roswell. That's where we'll find our Eli Jordan. The city getting ready to unveil their new parking deck that has 400 or nearly 400 spaces for people. And it's supposed to help you all and businesses. Eli, let's talk about this now. You've been seeing this since this morning. What is it looking like?
Hey, it's looking exciting down here. A lot of city leaders and residents and business owners are down here for a 2 p.m. ribbon cutting of their new 395 space parking deck. Let me show you what's going on here. Now, there's going to be there's the parking deck right there, 1065. Now, Alpharetta Street, downtown Highway 9, that is right down there. And we're on the corner here, and that's also Highway 9, Alpharetta Street there. And this is the new parking deck. They're about to open it up. It'll be open today, and it will be free parking for all. Now that the deck, the $14.5 million deck is complete, we're going to talk about Green Street. Green Street right here. People have been parking in a gravel lot at Plum Street, way down there, just beyond Plum Street, been parking there for free and then walking up to the eateries here. Roswell's a nice little quaint town. They got a lot of little eateries here. And so they're going to close down. Now that this is open, the city's going to close down Green Street right here, all the way down to Alpharetta, Highway 9, and it'll be closed all the way up to Cherry Way, which is right up there. All this will be closed, and that parking lot where people have been parking, that's going to be closed too, because that's going to be the staging area for the construction. So since that parking lot is going to be closed, well, you get to park for free over here in the big, nice parking deck that's opening up today. Now, while you're parking for free over here, this will be going on, and they are going to put in, if you notice, they've got nice big broad sidewalks made of brick. They're going to extend that nice broad brick sidewalk all the way up through here, put in some underground utilities, put in some lighting, and make this a much more conducive, safe, lit up, convenient area for people to get back and forth through. And this will be a one-way heading south toward Alpharetta Street, Highway 9. Now that's what's happening here, and then that's expected to be 6 months. So while all that's going on in Green Street, everybody can park for free here and go to their shops. They'll be able to walk right on over to their eateries or go across the street over there, across Alpharetta Street to the other eateries there, and they'll be able to park for free. Now, after 6 months, the expected construction of Green Street here, when it's done, the city will revisit, but the original plan for charging here at the parking deck, well, there's going to be free parking from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, charge in the evenings, and then charge all day in the evening on the weekends. But they're going to see how everything goes with the free parking now, and just see what is, if it gets all bunched up or whatever. But it's, the parking has been an issue here in Roswell, and now they're finally getting a reprieve from it. And with this new opening of the deck here at 1065 Alpharetta Street, and this is a new road. This road did not exist before the parking deck. I think I looked at the map, and there's a house here, and this is a brand new road. So this is a new address. It might not show up on your Google, but it's 1065, right across the street from the the big mixed-use development on Alpharetta Street here in Roswell. But now that this is complete and ready to be occupied, well, they're going to hit Green Street here now, and the parking that was down there towards the end where that white vehicle is probably going, that is going to be closed after today, so everybody can park here now. But it's exciting time. They're about to do a ribbon cutting, and so I guess I need to let you go because I'm double parked and I need to make it to this ribbon cutting. Back to you, Jasmine.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for showing us. Enjoy the ribbon cutting there, and hopefully you can speak to some people who are excited about this new parking deck. Eli, thank you. Your time is 1:55. Our news will continue at 2 p.m. with our Ariel Onstach. You'll have some of our top headlines locally and nationally, so stick around for our 2 p.m. stream.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here on your Monday afternoon. It is great to see you. As always, we've got a lot of stories to cover, so let's start off. We want to get the latest as to a fire in DeKalb County. We know that 3 people are hurt. Let's get out to our Annie map. Annie, what are you learning this afternoon?
Hi, Ariel. Good afternoon. This fire happened in the 400 block of Rays Road at this home you see right behind me. I know from the front of the house, you may not be able to tell just the amount of destruction that blaze caused. The back of the home just completely destroyed. You can see some of the residents have been going in and out, just trying to see what, if anything, they can save following that blaze. DeKalb County Fire Rescue says this all happened around 4:30 this morning. Crews got to the scene and found some residents who were outside. They told the crews that there was a woman who was trapped indoors. Thankfully, they were able to rescue that woman, and she was taken to an area hospital where we're told she's in critical condition. 2 other people also faced injuries, one being a child who suffered from smoke inhalation that also had to go to the hospital, and another person who suffered with some burned hands. Again, it's not known at this moment what caused this fire, but it was a very scary situation, not only for these residents, but also for people who live in this area. Take a listen at what one neighbor who we spoke to said.
My 5-year-old came running in my room and he was like, "Mommy, the house next door is on fire." So me and my husband hop out of bed and we come out the front door, and it's actually the house across the street, and it was just engulfed in flames in the back. Like, you could just see the fire. I was scared it was going to touch the trees.
In DeKalb County, fire rescue leaders tell us at least 7 people were inside this home when this fire started. Again, 3 people faced injuries. 1 woman is still in critical condition. We did speak to the residents a little earlier. They don't speak much English, but from what they were able to say is they are feeling in much better spirits than they were several hours ago. Ariel.
Annie, thank you so much for letting us know where things stand. Do you know, and I think you mentioned it, I just want to reiterate for those who are watching us, do you know whether or not the Red Cross is involved? Has anything been mentioned about how people can help these victims if they'd like to do so?
Yeah, I did ask one of the residents earlier if they had any sort of GoFundMe. They said they don't have any of that just yet. Also haven't seen, since I've been here for a few hours, any sight of the Red Cross, and also didn't hear any of that from DeKalb County Fire Rescue leaders as well.
Annie, thanks so much for keeping us updated on where this stands. No doubt you'll continue to keep us informed as you get any new information. We'll see you again later this evening. Annie Mapp, I'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, let's talk about something that we are just getting an update in, and that would be a tragic situation that unfolded in Cobb County. And Cobb County police are updating at this point. They've just sent us a press release, which I'd like to let you hear about as I read it, because there was a SWAT incident involving a welfare check on Vandiver Drive, and ultimately the update to the situation is they say the investigation revealed that a female victim who is being identified as 71-year-old Lori Peak was the victim of a homicide where her 29-year-old son, identified as William F. Peak, was the suspect. Now, Cobb County police say both resided at this incident location where they were called out for that welfare check that ultimately turned into a SWAT incident, and both were pronounced dead at the scene. And ultimately, Cobb County police believe this to be a murder-suicide, where they say the son shot and killed his mother before turning the gun on himself. So absolutely heartbreaking situation. This unfolded around 8:30 this morning, and they say that they had gotten a call from family members who said they had not heard from their loved ones and were concerned and wanted Cobb County police to go out and do a welfare check. Officers arrived at the scene and tried to make contact with those inside, and they say they saw a man inside the house house, but he did not respond to their repeated attempts to come to the front door. While they were able to try to establish contact, ultimately they started to get a search warrant to try to obtain entry into that home there in Cobb County, and they say they heard a gunshot around 11 in the morning inside that house. They say no officers discharged their weapons, but the SWAT team was called out and responded, and ultimately the crisis negotiators began to negotiate, and once police were able to get into that home, they found both inside dead. So absolutely heartbreaking. We'll keep you updated as we get any new information on that situation. I want to let you know that a 16-year-old boy that we've covered extensively, his disappearance, is still missing as of right now. His family is worried sick. You're looking at 16-year-old Benjamin, and he's disappeared for about a week now, since last Monday. His family is desperate to find him. They say this is not like him to disappear for such a long period of time. His house is in a neighborhood off County Line Road. He is 6 feet 5 inches tall, weighing roughly 175 pounds, and his family says if you have seen him, call police immediately. They are really trying to get him home. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we get any new information on that. But Benjamin is still missing. I also want to let you know about this story because this is wild. Imagine you're at Piedmont Park doing what a lot of people like to do at Piedmont. You're having a picnic, you're enjoying yourself, and then suddenly you find yourself involved in a situation you did not ask for. That happened to a woman who was at Piedmont Park. A man is accused of assaulting a woman during a picnic. Atlanta police arrested this man after he had allegedly exposed himself and assaulted a woman during that picnic. A group of teenagers intervened and surrounded the suspect after witnessing the attack, holding him until police arrived. The suspect's facing charges of simple battery and public indecency after that confrontation Sunday afternoon. But they say that the woman, her name is Unique Nelson, was just enjoying a picnic with a friend back on April 26th, that Sunday, when a man later identified as Ajani Michael approached them and asked for bug spray. According to Nelson, Michael had his hands in his pants and exposed himself when the women told him to leave them alone. Police say that's when Nelson, the woman, tried to call police, and then Michael allegedly grabbed her bag and slapped her across the face. The assault resulted in Nelson's earring being slapped out and her chain being ripped from her neck. A group of teenagers who witnessed the incident came over to help, and the woman says that she saw the teenagers stand in a circle around that man until police got there, which is just really wonderful that they were able to step up, but ultimately incredible that this even happened in the first place. Michael's now facing charges of simple battery and public indecency, and jail records show he has previously been arrested for similar offenses, including simple battery and public indecency. So this is not his first encounter with the law. Let's talk about something that we are all gearing up for here in the city of Atlanta, and that would be the FIFA World Cup. And at this point, Atlanta police and some other law enforcement partners are really taking a look at what the future of FIFA will look like and how they can keep people safe. They're especially trying to prepare for anything that may go wrong and to make sure that they know that they can handle it. So let's get out to our Deidre Dukes. Or Deidre, I understand Atlanta police hosted some training today in downtown. Tell us about what that entailed and why this is so important.
That's right. We had local first responders out here, Atlanta firefighters, Atlanta police, joined by Grady EMS and other EMTs. Also state and federal officials, GEMA and FEMA, also on hand today. They took over the park. It was closed for several hours this morning as they prepared for what they hope will not happen, but really a worst case scenario where we might see some sort of a mass casualty event here in the city of Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, when we host the FIFA World Cup here just within a matter of weeks. And so they did take over Piedmont Park. It has reopened to visitors at this hour, but for several hours this morning it was closed as we saw these first responders and others here carrying out a series of mass casualty exercises. Now, the one that we were allowed to shoot today involved a scenario where you had someone who opened fire, a shooter in the park, and there were mass casualties. And so we saw that first wave of Atlanta police officers roll in. Their job was to locate and neutralize the suspect. Once they had the shooter on the ground, the next wave to move in was the tactical team, and their job was also to really secure the area to ensure that no one else was out there posing a threat, and also to really secure the space. Once they were assured that this area was secured, then we saw more Atlanta police officers move in, joined by Atlanta Fire Rescue, Grady EMT, and it was their job really to perform triage, to really see to those who were wounded, to assess just how serious the injuries were to those who were there in the park when this training scenario of this mass shooting took place. Now, this will be the site of the big fan fest, a really very exciting what's going to take place here during the FIFA World Cup. This is where we're going to see concerts and activities and just a lot of the real energy and the fun that will drive fans here specifically to Centennial Olympic Park during that period. But as those who know the history of Atlanta know, that the Centennial Park actually in 1996 was the scene of a deadly bombing here that left one woman dead and over 100 people injured. And we were told that the lessons learned from that terrible event, that tragedy, really used as a blueprint of sorts decades later as law enforcement works to do what they can, not only to ensure that nothing like that ever happens again, but as we saw today, to prepare. So if the worst should happen, they are ready with a quick and united response. Here's what they told us today.
Yeah, so great question. So we've been training specifically police fire coordination since 2019. So we've been doing this for 7 years. This is not a new model for us. So we're getting pretty good. Nobody's perfect. We learn every time. We make mistakes every time, which is the reason we train, so we don't make the same mistakes in the field.
Right there.
The local and state and federal teams just working together to respond to, should something terrible like this happen, saying that they are ready for what could happen, hoping that it doesn't, but saying they are prepared, and especially ahead of the FIFA World Cup, just running through these series of exercises, just also letting the public know so they could see that they are doing what they can to ensure everyone's safety and to be able to respond if need be. In fact, I heard one woman as she was walking by here, saw the exercise going on, and saying to her friend that it was great to see, Ariel, that they were preparing and that they were planning. It just, makes people feel good to know that they are working to ensure that the city of Atlanta is safe as they prepare for this massive event that will certainly draw thousands to our city.
Yeah, Deidre, it's nice to have that antidote and to just get a little bit of a read on the public perception, because I would imagine that as police are able to do more of these trainings, it just makes them more prepared for the worst case. Obviously, we don't want it to happen, but you train for the worst and hope for the best. So good to see that exercise underway today.
Yes.
Deidre, I'll let you get back to it. We'll see you again later this evening. Thank you, as always, for joining the conversation and letting us know what to expect as we prepare for the FIFA World Cup. You guys, let's turn our attention to some national stories that affect your life. So we're going to talk about the Spirit Airlines bailout. But first, or rather, the lack of a Spirit Airlines bailout, let's be clear. But first, let me tell you about a Supreme Court ruling that is pretty significant, because the Supreme Court has just restored access to the abortion pill mifepristone. The order allows women seeking abortion to receive the pill at pharmacies through the mail without a visit to the doctor. A federal appeals court had imposed new restrictions last week, but this order that came today blocked a ruling that upended one of the main ways that abortion is provided across the country. The order is going to remain in effect for another week while both sides respond to the court more fully as they consider that issue. But so far, the Supreme Court has restored this access broadly. I also want to let you know that a lot of people, and if you're one of them, you can relate to this, a lot of people are trying to navigate the future of a world where Spirit Airlines is not in it, because after more than 30 years, the budget airline has closed, and passengers right now are waiting, trying to secure refunds and get new flights. They shut down early Saturday after talks for a government bailout fell apart. Sunday, the airline said it is almost finished refunding passengers who booked directly from Spirit, but said it may take time for other refunds to show up in guest accounts. So I'm curious, if you booked Spirit and your flight was canceled because it was happening later here in the year, have you already been refunded? Are you waiting on a refund? What's the status? Some passengers were stranded mid-journey. Other carriers have stepped up to help. United, American, and Delta are increasing some routes, offering price-capped fares and recruiting former Spirit employees. The Labor Department says it's also deploying a rapid response team to help hubs where workers have filed unemployment claims, and they also are trying to help with some different programs that Spirit had used to run. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has blamed the Biden administration for sealing Spirit's fate by blocking a previous merger attempt with JetBlue. But Democrats have pointed to rising fuel costs from the Iran war, saying that was truly the death knell for Spirit. At its peak, Spirit accounted for about 5% of all flights here in the United States. Now Frontier, Allegiant, and JetBlue are your best bets for low-cost air travel. Spirit did say in their press release when they closed that high fuel costs from the Iran war were a major factor in their decision. So I wanted to keep you updated on that. Also, if you have kids and you're concerned about their access to artificial intelligence, a new Senate panel has approved a bill that seeks to limit how old minors can be to access chatbots. This bill is now advancing through Congress, and the Senate Judiciary Committee unanimously voted to advance this bill. It requires major AI companies to ensure age verification processes are in place and a ban providing AI companions to minors. So minors would not be able to chat with AI chatbots in order to form friendships or any other kind of relationships. The Senate bill has been dubbed the GUARD Act, and companies like Meta AI, Google, Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, Character AI all allow kids as young as 13 access to AI services. The Senate action stems from parental allegations that AI companions have pushed children into sexual conversations and even suicide. Privacy advocates say the Senate actions in age verification processes are invasive and a barrier to free speech online. AI companies say their products do have built-in safeguards, and they continue to refine the process. So this is something we'll keep you updated as it progresses forward. Guys, let's move on to the latest as it relates to Trump and Germany, because there is a major battle brewing between the president and NATO over the war in Iran. At this point, President Trump says that the United States is significantly going to reduce its troop presence in Germany, and this is going to escalate a dispute with the German chancellor over the war with Iran. President Trump has been having a major disagreement with Germany's chancellor about its posture in Europe. On Friday, the Pentagon announced the withdrawal of 5,000 American service members from Germany, and over the weekend, the president said there will be more to come. The drawdown follows a war of words between President Trump and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz over the war. Germany has not supported it, and on Monday, a spokesperson for Merz tried to downplay the disagreement, but it also left European leaders scrambling to pivot away from the United States when it comes to defense. Some Republican lawmakers are starting to worry, including the heads of the Senate and House Armed Services Committees, who wrote in part, quote, "We are very concerned by the decision to withdraw a U.S. brigade from Germany," end quote. And across the aisle, Democrats claim the president is letting a personal dispute affect national security, saying that this is not a way to run national policy. Right now, there are more than 36,000 American troops in Germany, more than any other country in Europe. And the American troops that do train in Germany are poised in a specific place where they can have mission readiness to be deployed to other parts of the globe. Let's keep you updated on the latest with the war with Iran, specifically where we stand there, because at this point, the fragile ceasefire with Iran is facing its biggest test yet, as the United States is going to start escorting stranded ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's military has vowed to attack, but President Trump is calling this Project Freedom. U.S. forces have helped at least 2 American commercial ships safely cross the strait. The president says it's a humanitarian gesture with an estimated 2,000 ships stranded in the region since the war began. Now, it seems Iran is choosing to escalate, proving what a risky operation this is, in the sense that Iran's military reportedly fired a warning shot at a U.S. vessel just this morning. But U.S. Central Command says that no Navy ships have been hit. Peace talks with Iran are still stalled after President Trump rejected Iran's latest proposal over the weekend, saying Iran has not yet paid a big enough price. In the meantime, the U.S. blockade on Iran's ports does remain in effect. Analysis says it's only a matter of time before Iran's economy collapses. So we will continue to keep you updated as this moves forward. But in the meantime, let's bring you back here closer to home. We're going to check in on your weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Forbes. Want to get the latest. If you stepped outside today, it almost feels like a early spring morning, very cool, very crisp, but we're going to check in with Alex as to what's ahead. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Great to have you here on your Monday afternoon. We've got meteorologist Alex Forbes. Yep. Alex, this morning it felt so crisp and cool. I loved it.
Yeah, so it really had that, you mentioned it, like early March feel to it in the skies across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. And that's what we were missing out on during a lot of spring. And now we've kind of gotten back to it. But tell me if you've heard this one before, don't get used to it, right? We're going to see some more changes on the horizon. So, look, we're going to continue to ride the roller coaster. I think that's the name of the game here over the next several weeks. 74 in Atlanta right now, already several degrees warmer than this time yesterday. 73 in Gainesville, 75 over in Athens, and a pair of 7s over in Eatonton. Look at these numbers compared to 24 hours ago. We're 10 degrees warmer in Rome and in Canton, 7 degrees warmer in Gainesville, 6 degrees warmer in Atlanta, and 5 degrees warmer over in Eatonton. So for the remainder of the afternoon, we're going to continue that trend, getting up to about 78, 79 here in the city. Also noticing in the last couple of hours, some more cloud cover out there. That's going to continue through the daylight hours, and then as soon as the sun sets, all right, that's going to do it for us, and we're going to see that cloud cover really erode away across the metro Atlanta area. All right, let's take a closer look at the roller coaster here. 79 today, 80 tomorrow for Cinco de Mayo, which I didn't know until Joanne pointed it out this morning. Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, right there with each other this year. But look, we get up to 83 Wednesday and back down to 75 on Thursday. That's the function of a front coming through, and that front's going to bring the opportunity for showers and storms that we're going to take a closer look at hour by hour here in just a moment. But here's how the rain chances boil down, all right? Completely dry for the remainder of the day today. Dry in Atlanta tomorrow. If you're up in Dalton, Blue Ridge, Blairsville, maybe even as far south as Gainesville, I wouldn't rule out a scattered shower. But for all of us, a 20% chance of rain on Wednesday, followed by 80% there on Thursday. And then we're going to remain unsettled into the weekend ahead, a 30% chance of rain on Mother's Day. So let's time it all out here. This is starting tomorrow evening. This is Tuesday at 11 p.m. Mixing in some clouds. There's your scattered shower risk up towards the north. Wednesday during the day, by and large, is going to be dry. It's Wednesday night into Thursday. You see there that we've got this line of storms pushing through. And look, beginning of May, I know what you're thinking. Severe weather. Yes, there's going to be a low-end severe risk with this, but this is nowhere close to a crazy springtime front that, keeps us up at night. There's nothing that's going to keep me up tonight worrying about Wednesday. It's just kind of a run-of-the-mill type of thing. But look, we get the storms through here Thursday during rush hour, maybe some scattered showers and some heavy showers down south of I-20 Thursday evening, but then we get into Friday, and that's when things mostly clear out. We'll hang on to a low rain chance, and we're going to do something similar here for Mother's Day weekend. All right, so 76 on Saturday, partly cloudy. I'd say that's probably the better outdoor day. I still have some question marks about Sunday, chance of afternoon rain. What I feel confident in is that 30% chance is not going to stay at 30%. It's either going to skyrocket because we're going to be looking at widespread showers, or it's just going to go away completely. So I wouldn't go canceling anything for Mother's Day, but I would maybe have plan B in the back of your mind. I wouldn't pull the trigger on plan B, but just know that there is the possibility of some rain around. And I do think if there is rain, it's going to be a decent amount of it. But we need it. We're going to take the opportunity to get it. I know the timing could be better, but, when we're more than a foot below average, we'll take what we can get.
Yes, we will, for sure. And, it's hard because I do love this dry heat, but I understand that we do need the rain.
Right.
So,
well, and you bring up a good point. Just to go off on a tangent here, I'm not a lotion person.
Sure.
Holy cow, the last 3 days, I'm like, all right, what's this lotion thing people speak of? The air has been so dry. It's been so dry.
Alex, you're killing me.
Well, it's true. It's like,
I'm gonna get you a little bottle of lotion, and maybe we can use it even when it's not dry.
Well, I don't know about that.
It's good for your skin.
But no, seriously, it's been very atypical for May.
Yes, it
to
has.
be this dry.
You are right.
Not just from a rainfall perspective, but from an air perspective. Humidity was at 19% the other afternoon.
Crazy. That's not Georgia. Yeah. I love it, but that's not Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, if a bunch of people just start sending you, lotion samples,
I'll know why it's happening.
Why.
Right. Yeah.
Alex, thanks so much as always. You guys, let's continue to keep you updated. I want to let you know where we stand with a hearing that's scheduled today for the press shooting suspect, Cole Allen. At this point, we've learned that the defense team for Cole Allen actually filed a request to remove him from suicide watch after learning the restriction had already been lifted. Attorneys called the motion moot and asked the court to cancel today's hearing. In a file, Allen's lawyers said they recently learned he is no longer on that suicide status at the D.C. jail, making their early request unnecessary. But we'll continue to keep you updated as we know that the U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro there for the Southern District of Washington is actually saying that prosecutors plan to bring the case before a grand jury this week, and they are working towards securing an indictment that could include additional charges. So that is something we'll keep you updated on. Also, nightmare much? Let's talk about this one because a Dutch cruise ship is waiting for help off the coast of Africa. 3 passengers died in a suspected hantavirus outbreak. Health officials say the vessel, the MV Hondius, had requested assistance from local health authorities after several people got sick. The World Health Organization says 1 case of hantavirus infection has been confirmed by a lab, and 3 of the 5 passengers with the suspected cases have died. About 150 people are on board that ship, which departed from Argentina about 3 weeks ago and reportedly stopped in the Antarctic and other locations on its way to Cape Verde. So this is not from what we're seeing, right, like a more luxurious cruise experience. This is an adventure type situation going to Antarctica, Cape Verde. And in case you're confused, unsure of what hantavirus is, it is a rodent-borne virus that can cause deadly respiratory illness. So a Dutch foreign ministry spokesperson confirmed that an elderly Dutch couple was among the dead, and we know ultimately they're trying to coordinate an evacuation of that ship. Let's talk about something happening a little closer to home, because speaking of the coronavirus, back during COVID times, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention established a federal eviction moratorium in an effort to help prevent people who couldn't make their rent during the height of the coronavirus pandemic from becoming homeless. While it lasted from September of 2020 through July of 2021, hundreds of landlords across the country say they are suffering economic impacts from that ruling to this day. They say that the CDC violated their right to compensation, and they're demanding back their losses. More than 1,500 rental property owners across the country are seeking more than $1 billion in compensation from the federal government. They accuse the CDC's eviction moratorium during the height of the pandemic of preventing them from earning critical funds. Some attorneys also argue this strategy created problems. Without all of the rent coming in for roughly a year, many landlords say they took on debt to pay for mounting costs. Others had to lay off staff, delay repairs, and even sell their properties. One attorney says, quote, the cost of this was borne by the rental property owners when it should have been borne by the federal government. And that's why we brought the lawsuit under the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which prohibits taking of private property without just compensation, end quote. Now, some supporters of the moratorium say it really helped to keep the pandemic from spreading through the community faster because people were able to stay in their homes without fear of eviction. They also claim many landlords benefited from billions in federal funds and emergency rental assistance. Some property owners say those funds did not fully cover their losses. Others cite issues at the local level in securing the money. After winning an appeal, plaintiffs are now in settlement discussions with the Justice Department. So this is something that we're going to watch closely as it relates here, and keep you updated once this moves forward. I am looking ahead, and we are about that time where coming up next, we are going to get a check of our Tyler Fingert of the wildfires in South Georgia. Tyler's going to join us here at the desk to talk about why evacuation orders are being lifted and where the status of those fires stands. That's next. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad here with Tyler Finger. As always, if you have questions about the stories we're covering today, things you want to know more about, you can put it here in our chats on TikTok and YouTube. And one thing we're following closely today, Tyler, progress is being made in those wildfires to our south. I know you have been there. You've covered what we've been seeing in that devastation. Learning some evacuation orders are being lifted.
Yeah, so they had evacuation orders in for about a week and a half or so, pretty much since this fire began. They've had a varying amount of evacuation orders, and that was about 2 weeks ago this fire got underway, and we are finally getting back to a point of normalcy. They have finally got rid of all of the mandatory evacuation orders for the Highway 82 fire, which is the most destructive wildfire in Georgia's history. We are talking about more than 22,000 acres, more than 110 structures, most of those homes destroyed as those flames were tearing through. You're looking at video from the time we've been down there at different points. That's an airdrop helicopter putting that bucket into the water, pulling it out. Obviously, officials out there trying to talk with folks. Those flames, though, thankfully not looking like that anymore. That's video we were seeing previously. But after 2 weeks of relentless firefighting, we do know that they say that this historic wildfire is now in the mop-up phase, which is some good news here, with crews battling dangerous hotspots, which are still burning underground. And so essentially more than 600 firefighters are still out there. That is a huge response, because initially there were just a handful, obviously, when that fire got called out 2 weeks ago. Now, obviously, they are to the point where they have so many people on the ground helping, and they're using heavy equipment, water, and infrared technology to track hidden heat as they work to keep this fire from flaring back up. As I mentioned, at least 110 structures have been destroyed, and even more major progress, and officials warn South Georgia's fire danger remains extreme. A burn ban is still in effect. Temperatures are rising, and little rain is in the forecast, at least until the end of the week. They'll get a little bit, it sounds like. In nearby Clinch County, the massive Pineland Road fire is also burning. A reminder that while recovery is beginning, the region remains in a dangerous fight. Take a listen to an official I spoke to this morning who is helping coordinate efforts on the ground in Brantley County.
The weather conditions going into this week are not favorable for firefighting. In fact, they're conditions that a wildfire really loves to burn under. So we are still really in high fire danger, and we're all aware of that. My team is helping with some of the initial attack that's going on around our fire, and we fully expect that this fire danger will continue.
And so that burn ban remains in effect for, I believe it's 91 counties in South Georgia, to make sure that they hopefully don't have any more spreading in terms of other fires starting, because they said right now ignition, because of how dry it is down there, even with the rain that we've seen, with how dry it is, more than 50% chance of a fire igniting. Obviously, most of the fires that have been igniting over the last week or so have not gotten to the point of the Brantley County fire, the Highway 82 fire, and also the Pineland Road fire in Clinch County. But unfortunately, it just takes a little bit to get out of control. This fire, the one in the Highway 82 fire in Brantley County, do you remember how it started? A balloon
on a power line.
So the balloon went up, hit it, created a power arc, which then exposed those, I guess, sparks to the ground below, which then prompted this 22,000 acre fire. So
incredible.
Something as simple as a balloon touching a power line started this.
Tyler, one thing I've seen a lot on TikTok has been wildlands fires from California who came here to Georgia to help fight this. And it's been incredible to see just that first person point of view from other firefighters from around the country who have come. So, like, if you question how serious this was, serious enough to bring in firefighters from other states.
And those people out west are very experienced.
Very experienced,
I worked at a TV station in Phoenix, and up in the higher elevations north of Phoenix, they get a lot of fires. Obviously, the Yarnell Hill fire is the one where we lost a number of hotshot crew members. Back when I was there, it was completely a terrible situation. And just how dangerous the situation is on the ground for these people who go out there to try to battle these fires, to make sure that homes and structures can remain standing. But yeah, you have that experience coming from the West Coast trying to help us. When I was down in Brantley County, when the governor Brian Kemp was down there, he was saying that both the Highway 82 fire and the Pineland Road fire were the two most serious fires that were burning anywhere in the United States at that exact moment. That was about a week and a half
You
ago.
wouldn't expect that in Georgia, but Georgia continues to give us every weather condition that is nearly possible. So,
and the lady everyone just heard from joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 2, she was telling me during our interview earlier today that we do get fires every so often here. She said 2017, and then a couple before that, the state has
but
seen
this
some,
was the worst
in terms of destruction.
Yeah.
So they're talking about, we're saying that in terms of destruction because of the number of structures that were destroyed.
Right.
Acres, they've had hundreds of thousands of acres burned at different points in fires. This specific one destroyed the most amount of structures. Obviously, in some rural areas like a Brantley County, you have homes that are farther apart.
Right.
But in the Pineland Road fire, those homes are even further apart from anything. So in Brantley County, unfortunately, those homes were getting burned. And if that would happen up in, I think we had a fire up in northwest Georgia that we covered near Lake Allatoona. And it was something about the fact that if it would burn there could be a lot of homes there that could be in the line of fight. But thankfully, the firefighters were able to get that one out.
Tyler, thank you as always for keeping us updated. You guys, let's continue along here and switch gears because I want to talk about something we're learning more about. A massive search is underway in Morocco for two missing United States service members. This is unique because both were participating in annual multinational military exercises. A defense official tells Fox News they were last seen near Ocean's Cliff while out on a hike. The two U.S. Army soldiers disappeared after an annual training exercise, and the United States Africa Command says that this is under investigation. Ground, air, and maritime resources, including mountaineers and divers, are all banding together to try to find these two missing service members. But it happened Saturday night near the Cap Draw training area in the city of Tan Tan, close to the Atlantic Ocean. The terrain actually is mountainous, a mix of desert and plains with temperatures in the mid-70s. So we'll keep you updated as they continue to try to find these two missing service members. Back in 2012, we know 2 U.S. Marines were killed and 2 others injured during a helicopter crash in Morocco while taking part in a similar training exercise. So this search is underway. Let's talk about something unfolding closer to home because I am looking off to my right and it looks like Eli Jordan is good to go. So at this point, one thing that we are taking a look at is this new parking deck that is opening in Roswell. Eli Jordan, looks like you're joining us live from this deck, and I know parking's long been an issue in Roswell, and I understand this deck's opening today.
Yep, parking's been an issue, but not anymore. The deck is open, 1065 Alpharetta Street. Actually, this is a new address, and so it might not show up on your Google Maps, but it's close to the Masonic Lodge. This is a $14.5 million project that has been in the works for about 4 years now, and they had the grand opening today. Ben, this is along Green Street and Alpharetta Street here in Roswell. It's like on a triangle corner. So, you know, you got Alpharetta Street that way, in downtown Alpharetta, you know, the big mixed-use stuff, and then you also have Alpharetta Street this way. Then right behind me here, I'm going to show you, there's Green Street right down here. Now, Roswell is a quaint little place, and Green Street's right there. That it's been a thoroughfare for people to walk up and down while construction on this building has been going on. And then we'll walk on out here. I'm on P4, yeah, P4, brand new level here. It's exciting to be up here. It's brand new, you know, it's got a new car smell area. But so people have been parking in a gravel lot right over here. Well, they're going to revitalize Green Street right here. Now that this is open, they're going to shut all this down and go up all the way to Cherry Way and have it shut down all the way to Alpharetta Street. And so people will no longer be able to use this free parking spot up here. That's going to be a construction staging area to put underground utilities here and make a walking path like that big sidewalk right there. Going to make it all the way up to Cherry Way. And so people will be able to park here for free while the construction is going on for the next 6 to 8 months on Green Street. So parking will be free here at the new parking deck. But what is going to happen after the revitalization of Green Street? Are they going to start charging everybody to come in here? Well, I spoke to Mayor Mary Robichaux about this, and this is what she had to say.
With this deck, I think what we're going to do is collect a lot of really good data for like almost 8 months. So we'll be able to make some really good determinations. And really what we want to do is make sure that this deck, we're able to maintain it to the level it should be. So as we all know, there's going to be maintenance costs associated with it. So we just have to make sure we figure out the best way for everyone involved that we maintain those costs. That's really what our goal is. It's not to make a huge amount of money off this deck. It's to make sure that it maintains the level that we expect and that it can be self-sustaining as best as we can make it, because that's just the way we want it to be.
That's just the way they want it to be. Yeah, I mean, they just really want to be able to make coming to Roswell, downtown Roswell, more inviting. And don't worry about parking on the streets. Come up here, park in the parking deck, and hang out, and do your shopping, do your eating, stay longer. But also, too, as I said, this is a new address. So between Green Street, which is right over there, and Alpharetta Street, which is right there, this is a new road. This road is the Kevin Cash Road. Kevin Cash was a Roswell firefighter who died while he was on duty. And so this is the Kevin Cash Memorial Street right here. And so that's what that's named, in honor of Kevin Cash of the Roswell Fire Department, who died on duty. So he gets a named street here. But yes, this is open now. It's free parking now. Come on in. You will have to grab a ticket. That's how they're getting the data. You grab a ticket, and then when you leave, you just scan the ticket. That will give people data, the city authorities data about how long you stayed here, and what time you came in, and so that'll give them some information about where they're going to go with charging in this parking deck, if they do charge after the Green Street revitalization happens. But that's been the only point of contention here is the parking fees, which I can attest to that, because that's always my concern whenever I'm going anywhere on a shoot. Am I going to get parking validated, or do I have to pay for parking? And of course, it seems to be a universal concern, but right now, for the next few months, everyone who comes to Roswell can park for, 395 people can park for free in this parking lot when you come to Roswell for the next 6 months while they revitalize Green Street right down the street here.
Okay.
And so come on out and enjoy Roswell and park in the new parking deck. And it's a nice fancy style. They have the red brick, which matches the South Coast development over there, so kind of got the manufacturing brick look going on, and so they matched it, and it's real pleasant. And I've never been so excited about a parking deck before, Ariel, and I don't even live here, but this just makes sense. And I got to drive around. I'm like, yeah, this is a perfect spot for a parking deck, and I can see why they're excited about it.
Well, Eli,
and, so I think residents are excited about it, and they're ready to get the Green Street going and finally just enjoy life here in Roswell some more.
Well, Eli, looks like a nice addition to the city and a great resource for people, because I understand if the parking's a pain, it can make everything else a pain when you're trying to go out downtown and enjoy things. So, Eli, thanks so much for giving us a tour. We'll see you back here at 3 o'clock, but it looks nice and new. So, Eli Jordan, thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, coming up next, we are going to take you out live with our Christopher Rosenthal. Habitat for Humanity has an ambitious goal. They're getting 1,000 volunteers together to build 24 homes in 1 week. So we're going to check in with Chris at a home here in Atlanta straight ahead. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here on your Monday afternoon. It's great to see you. Habitat for Humanity has a really ambitious goal this week, and out live at a home here in Atlanta is our Christopher Rosenthal. Chris, you've got the hard hat on. You're ready to go. Tell us more about what Habitat for Humanity is trying to achieve this week.
Yeah, this is something they haven't done in about 40 years or so. This is a blitz build here. They have building about 24 homes here. The long-term goal is to build about 60 or so here in this community, Langston Park community. It's a community they've built up on their own. I'm going to kind of pan around and show you. This is just a small part of it here. We have about 800 workers here today. It'll be about 800 to 1,000 workers every single day this week building these homes. Down there in that background there, you can see those are, those were just slabs earlier today, and every time they lift a wall up, it's an exciting moment. This section here is a townhome section here. Really, this is usually Habitat usually does kind of one home here or there, but this is a new idea for them, a new way of building really a community. It makes it much more cohesive. A much more cohesive approach, makes the homeowners a little more invested. And the homeowners here, they go through a rigorous process. These are not giveaways here. They pay a mortgage on it, but they get a good deal on a mortgage here, and they have to work hard themselves building these homes. And I've got one of those future homeowners here, as your shirt says. Kyrie, tell me about the home you're building here. First of all,
well, this is my first home. I am so excited. This is my baby. I worked really, really hard to get here. I put in a lot of sweat equity hours and a lot of classes, and I just can't wait to see it all come together.
Yeah, tell me about the process you've had to go through to get this home, to become a home buyer.
Sure. So I had to apply at the beginning of 2025, and my process went pretty quickly. I had an interview over the phone, and then they, of course, checked my finances and make sure everything was in okay order, good order. And then I had a home interview where they came to get to know me so that they could put a personality and a face with a name on the paper. And then I got that call that said you are approved. I was so excited. And then after that, I just kept going to classes, putting in the hard work, getting those 250 sweat equity hours. And then they said, it's time to pick a lot. And I came out and I said, I want this one. And that's how we got here today.
So did you even get to pick it out?
Yeah, I did. I looked at two, and then one of the Atlanta Habitat Work employees showed me a different, it was just bare. It was completely empty. And she was like, well, these are the ones you put on paper. Which one would you like? And I was like, I want this one.
Oh, that's amazing here. And we can poke our heads in here a little bit.
Okay.
And tell me, this is, what would you have to say to these volunteers? I mean, it's not just you.
All right, Chris is breaking up a little bit. He's working his way through the house, and cell service might be a bit of a challenge as he's going through. Incredible to see the progress that they're making. So we're going to see if we can bring Chris back in just a little bit. If I see his shot start to move, we'll go back to him. But let me tell you a little bit about where they're at. They are, I think I hear Chris in my ear again. Chris, maybe try to keep speaking. It looks like your shot, you're back. Okay. It looks like inside the home, maybe it was just
I'm back.
a challenge. We'll go to you. We have about a couple minutes.
Yes. So, okay, yeah. Sometimes the technical difficulties here, but it's been amazing here. I've been here since since this morning, and I mean, you see all the blue hats here. They're just workers working away. The volunteers, I mean, a lot of them come with their companies, with teams with their companies. Some of them are on their own out here. This is again part of the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter work project. Of course, we know they were hugely involved here. Atlanta Habitat celebrating its 50-year anniversary, so this is very timely over here. But again, like I was talking about earlier, this is a big project, a unique project in that they're building really a whole community here, not just individual homes. These homes, again, I hope to have them mostly wrapped up by the end of the week and turn the keys over sometime in June to the new homeowners.
Chris, this is fabulous. You have such a sweet assignment. I love to see that home going up. It reminds me of back in the day, when they would have a big barn raising or home raising where everyone gets together and just puts something up for a family. And incredible, also wonderful way to honor the legacy of Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. So, Chris, I love this. Super visual and entertaining with everything going on. We're going to see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much. And you guys, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here. We're going to bring in Tom Haynes. Tom, welcome back. What are we looking at for 3 o'clock?
Ariel, I love the story that Chris is on this afternoon. It's called Sweat Equity.
Yes.
People out there building those Habitat for Humanity houses. I was actually at one of them with former President Jimmy Carter years ago, probably 20 years ago. Watching him do that, he was so passionate about it. Coming up all new at 3 when you join us here on the stream, Douglas County on edge. They are looking for a suspected child molester. We're going to talk about that, plus the new Breeze cards causing all kinds of confusion for riders. There's lines at the Lindbergh Marta station of Marta riders trying to get the situation straightened out, transferring to this new Breeze card system. We're going to check in live there with our Rob D'Arienzo to try to sort it all out. Coming up at the top of the hour at 3 o'clock.
Cool. Well, looking forward to it, Tom. And you guys, thanks as always for being here, too. I'm Ariel Onstadt. We'll see you in just a bit.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. I'm your host here for the next hour, Tom Haynes, bringing you up to date on all the stories making news today, stories you need to hear about. We're going to begin in Douglas County this afternoon, where there is a frantic search going on, one that has intensified for a suspected child molester. Let's get out to our Kevin Stewart, who is standing by live on the scene to talk about this for us in that neighborhood. Kevin, what more do we know about that search, and what have neighbors told you this afternoon?
Well, let's start with the area that we're in. Right now we're in Lithia Springs, and we understand these incidents date back to February, at least 9 incidents, and they're all in the Cobb County, Douglas County line area, the Thornton Road corridor, and has a lot of people upset because we understand the suspect is taking kids and trying to take kids into secluded areas. And so let's just get to the video. Let's get to the video where we have the picture of the suspect, 2 pictures. They aren't great pictures, but this is what investigators have to work with. They want to know if you recognize this man. You see the side of his face. He appears to be tall. He is often, according to Cobb County Police, seen in basketball-themed gear. Now, we understand, again, this dates back to February. And when we talked to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office today, they say they've been up and down the corridor and have passed out about 300 flyers in neighborhood businesses, apartment complexes. And this is when we talked to 2 people in these communities. In fact, in the same apartment complex, one man who's a grandfather who was aware of all that was going on, and we talked to a woman who said she had no idea this was going on, and she's really concerned and she wants to get involved. I want you to take a listen to both of these people.
Because we have a lot of children over here, and so I'm glad that you're doing this, because with the child safe kit that I have with my employer, I'm going to go to the leasing office and see if it's any way possible we can do like a gathering where I can get parents to get this app. I work for American Income Life, so the company that I work for, we work with the police unions, and we're the field team that assists with getting the child safe kits out for the parents. And what it does is just hold the child's vital information. So if the child was to go missing, run away, get abducted or something like that, it'll all set the Amber Alert.
We keep close, tight-knit with my grandson. He's in the area. You know, he stays close by the apartment, so he doesn't go too far. And then we always have people that we know in the area that see him. Like my grandson is well known in the community. You got to know me in order to talk to my grandson. Not everybody's just walking up talking to my grandson. So, and then my grandson is not going to stick around and let you talk to him. So he's going to call for his grandmother, or he's going to walk away like, "Who are you?"
All right, who are you? And those are the types of things that many adults, he believes, should be having conversations with their young people, whether that's their son, daughter, granddaughter, grandson, niece, nephew, whatever, just to remind them to be safe, not just to talk to anybody. Be aware of your surroundings. People are definitely very concerned about this, and this is why police have put this out, put the bolo out on their Facebook pages and social media, and have talked to us to try to get the word out about this. Again, not a whole lot of specifics about these 9 incidents, but we do know they have happened in the Thornton Road corridor. At least that's where the investigation is, in Austell, Lithia Springs, Cobb County, Douglas County. Tom?
Yeah, I am very reassured to hear the vigilance of those neighbors talking about this child safety kit. Is that something unique to that area that these employers and the neighborhood came up with to try to keep their children safe? And as that gentleman said, if you don't know me, you have no business interacting with my child.
Yeah, the woman said she was walking her dog, and she works for a company that she says works with the police departments and police unions more specifically, actually, and they have a kit that's accompanied by an app where you can put information in and will go straight to an Amber Alert and lets people know that, hey, something is wrong with my child is missing, that sort of thing, if they're abducted. And so she says she wants to be able to talk to her apartment complex management to see if she can get the community together so that she can get the word out about this incident, and also to try to get people to sign up for that kit. And as for the grandfather, like I mentioned, I mean, it's like most of us probably raised to be aware of stranger danger, and certainly in recent years people have become much more sensitive to that. And a lot of people say it's a shame that people can't be friendly, but people have to be really careful these days, no doubt, Tom.
Yeah, you said it, Kevin, but it's super reassuring to hear that neighborhood again being so vigilant, keeping their eyes and ears open, getting that child safety kit out, and teaching their kids about stranger danger, if you will, and if you see something, to say something. Kevin Stewart live for us this afternoon. Kevin, thanks. Moving on here now, we want to talk about DeKalb County, the fire crews there who are investigating what sparked a destructive house fire early this morning on Rays Road. Firefighters arrived about 4:30 this morning to find 7 people escaping the flames. Crews rushed into the building to rescue a trapped woman who is now in critical condition with smoke inhalation. A young victim also hospitalized, but in stable condition, we understand, while yet a third victim is being treated for burns to their hand. Again, this happening in DeKalb County. Investigators still on that scene, working to determine exactly how that fire started. The search for 16-year-old Benjamin Brathwaite is entering its 6th day as his family pleads for the public's help to bring him home. The teen was last seen Monday night leaving a southwest Atlanta neighborhood on foot without his cell phone. Benjamin is 6 foot 5 inches tall, was last seen wearing a black hoodie with black joggers, we understand. His family has now turned their home into a search command center and plans to launch a social media page to coordinate tips from the community. That's his picture you see there. So if you see or know about anything about Benjamin, you are asked to call police. The Brathwaite family says that they are worried, sick, and heartbroken, urging anybody who's seen Benjamin to call 911 immediately. There's been a major break in Noonan as the suspect accused of gunning down a man in the street is now in police custody. Let's get out to our Doug Evans live with new images from police. Doug, how did they wind up tracking the suspect down?
Yeah, interesting, Tom. You began the 3 o'clock hour with an active manhunt. Here's a manhunt that's now over with the arrest of Justin Owens. He was wanted for the execution-style slaying of a man here in Noonan back on March 31st. They've been looking for him ever since. They tell me that he went to Nebraska for a while, came back, was holed up in an apartment with a girlfriend in which he shares a baby, and that's where Noonan police found him. Justin Owens under arrest now, charged with murder, also charged with some drug offenses because they found some drugs there as well. Also arrested the girlfriend, Tiffany Trice. She's charged with harboring a fugitive. This was a very violent crime, Tom. Happened late at night, around 11 o'clock. Hunter Williams, 38 years old, gunned down right in the middle of the street, right in front of other people, in what Noonan police have described as an execution-style homicide. Let's hear from police now.
So we had been, as you said, hunting him for several weeks, checking addresses, checking, where he had said to other people that he had been, who he had told that he was going to be at certain places and whatnot. We ended up tracking him out of the state to Nebraska and then back into the state. And we got word that he was with his baby's mother. A couple different steps led us to go knock on her door, and as members of our drug and vice unit knocked on her apartment door, they already had somebody around back just in case, and the third story was where the apartment was, and as soon as they knocked on the front door, they started hearing a scraping noise coming from the back of the apartment, and it was Justin Owens trying to cut out of the third story window. He was cutting the screen with a knife. So after he started cutting the screen, he looked down, saw that we had a couple extra officers there. He went back into the apartment and then subsequently gave himself up without any further incident.
Yeah, I went over to the Brighton Farms Apartments today to take a look at it for myself. That third story drop, that's a doozy. I don't think he'd wanted to make that. As they said, he gave up, and as you can tell from the photo that we showed you of Justin Owens sitting in the back of a patrol car wearing just red shorts, he was obviously taken by surprise, Tom.
The effective and efficient nature, Doug, by which the Noonan Police Department works to capture a guy like that, get him off the street, and prevent risk and danger to other people in that community. You've seen these kind of investigations play out so many times. Was there anything different about this case that allowed police to capture him so quickly?
You know, they were able to identify him, Tom, right away, and then develop him as their main suspect and then file charges just in a matter of days after the shooting of Hunter Williams. That was because that street was crowded that night. There were people who saw him, identified him. Police jumped on it right away, got the charges filed. By then he had fled the state, apparently, and they were able to track him for some time. They told me when we did a story with them a couple of weeks ago when they were offering a $5,000 reward that they felt pretty confident that they were on his tail, but as soon as they arrived, he was gone. And so they always believed that it was just a matter of time that they would show up at the right location and he would still be there. And apparently that's what happened here in Noonan the other night when they went to this apartment and found him in the company of that girlfriend who he shares a child with, Tiffany Trice. Again, she's been charged as well. They're both locked up in the Coweta County Jail at this time.
Again, we're certainly glad that police have who they think is responsible and making that community just a bit safer today. Doug Evans, live for us this afternoon. Doug, thanks. You know, if you've heard about these issues with Marta, the system is switching over how you access getting on and off trains, ditching the old Breeze card for a new one. In the lead up to this, the gates to all the Marta stations were wide open. They asked people to work on the honor system going in and out, but a lot of people just breezed, if you will, right through because, again, the gates were open. Well, now the gates are closed. People actually need a new Breeze card, and they need to follow the new protocols and procedures to access buying fares to get on Marta. It's a confusing situation. It's a bit of a transitional period going from one system to the other. And so that's caused lines, as you could see behind our Rob DiRienzo, who's out there at Marta headquarters covering all this for us. Rob, what's the latest?
Hey there, Tom. Well, they call this the Better Breeze card, but so far, a lot of the people I'm talking to here behind me don't think there's anything better about this. This is right outside of Marta's headquarters here in the Lindbergh station, or just right across from Lindbergh station. These folks specifically are trying to get their reduced fare cards. As you mentioned over the weekend, the old Breeze system stopped working, and a lot of these people need to get around, and they rely on these reduced fare cards. A lot of them are seniors, a lot of them are disabled, but they've been out here, some of them say 2 or 3 hours today, trying to get these cards. Marta was supposed to mail them to them, but apparently that never happened. So here's the line right here. I want to give you a look at what those new Better Breeze cards look like and what we've been seeing at the stations throughout the day. This is supposed to make things easier for riders. More than 100 people, though, are out here saying they just never got these reduced fare cards. And a lot of these riders think this could have been handled with a little level of coordination. To a clip of a few people I spoke to a little while ago. Listen. Yeah.
We got to get his act together. It was supposed to come in the mail, and it hasn't got there yet. So we're here.
We were told they would be in the mail. Several of us have conferred with each other. There was nothing in the mail. So you leave us no choice and deadlines that we have to get our half-fare cards.
That's my way of transportation. But I think the system, model system, is very behind.
And back out here, you can just see this line. It's completely wrapped around the building. Again, I spoke to some people, a lot of them seniors, who were standing out here for 2-3 hours trying to get some answers. Now, I spoke with Marta's assistant GM of customer experience, who acknowledged the Better Breeze rollout probably could have been better. He says they were supposed to go out in the mail, but as you can see, evidently, not everyone got these reduced fare Breeze cards.
We did have a database of reduced fare holders. We did a couple different things. We actually called to verify a lot of their addresses. We printed cards in advance to send those to those addresses, and then the cards that some of the cards came back. Some folks again could have the same name but a different person, and then some cards we held back because we didn't think it would get there in time for May 5th.
All right, and again, back out here live, I just wanted to give you the perspective of just how long this line is. We're hearing that it was actually a little worse on Friday, but I did ask Marta for an update on all of this. They say they are providing seating outside, which we do see, as well as fresh fruits, donuts, and water. They say customer service agents are assisting with restroom access when requested, and that was one of the big complaints that we got out here earlier, is that a lot of these people, especially the elderly and the disabled, they needed to go to the bathroom, they needed water, and they weren't immediately getting that. So that's a situation here outside of the outside of Marta's headquarters. Again, this Better Breeze rollout was supposed to be an improvement of sorts, and it seems as if it's kind of gotten off to a bumpy start, Tom.
Yeah, I'm sure down the road a piece it will be an improvement. It will be easier to use, and it will speed the process up. Those old Marta machines, the ones you had to go up, and they were just very, very inefficient. Many of them didn't even work. So it was time for an update. But as you say, Rob, this transition perhaps wasn't as well thought out as they had planned in the first place. And so as a result, you have all those people lined up, waiting for this new fare card. Do they expect these lines to kind of subside and to get these riders who depend on Marta where they need to be?
Well, so first thing, I do want to emphasize what you mentioned. A lot of people have acknowledged that the Marta system was long overdue for an overhaul, especially when it came to simple things like tapping on your wallet or tapping on using your Apple Pay or using some sort of digital currency like that. This very much brings people into 2026, but unfortunately, the cost is, again, all of these people who rely on Marta, many of them are low income, rely on these reduced fare cards. And again, Marta's story was that this was something that had been in the works for months, that they had reached out to people using the emails that they had signed up for their reduced fare cards with, saying essentially, here's how you go about getting your new Better Breeze card. But a lot of these people say they moved, or they had changes of address, or they just simply never received the reduced fare cards in the mail. So again, on one side of things, you do have this happy improvement, this innovation that I think everybody needs. But again, these people, especially the ones who are disabled and elderly, they rely on Marta to get around. And without having a clear Better Breeze card right available to them right now, it's been a trouble. But as you mentioned, Tom, a lot of the fare gates throughout the system are open right now. Marta's trying to close them as they fully implement this system, but it's really only the old fare gates that have remained open at this point. So as they go into the stations and put in the new fare gates with the taller glass and the new technology, they will be closed. So that's really a temporary solution for a lot of these people. So they came down here to try to get everything straightened out. It's not clear how fast the line is moving, but again, I spoke to some people out here earlier who said that they were out here for 2, even close to 3 hours, starting at 10, 11 this morning. So I know there's a lot of frustration, especially with these people who just want to get around and are having a hard time doing it right now, Tom.
Yeah, many of them probably, missing out on work, clocking in, clocking out, having to take a break or even half a day off to get the situation straightened out. Hats off to Marta for, the donuts and water or whatever they're giving people out there to kind of make the situation a little bit better for them. Rob DiRienzo live at the Lindbergh Marta station for us this afternoon. Rob, thanks. We'll check back in with you. I want to take you out to California right now, where we've been watching some pretty extraordinary live pictures of a bear on the loose. The Fox station out there, our sister station's been on top of this for quite some time. Those are a couple of dogs out there who are wondering what the heck is going on as this bear wanders through neighborhoods in the San Fernando Valley, we understand. The helicopter has captured, at times, close-up shots of this bear, and he's right in that area that you see there in this cluster of homes. You know, just kind of wandering around, I presume looking for some food and some of these trash cans or whatever. But he's there, and animal control folks are trying to capture him before he either confronts one of these dogs or a human. Okay, so he's a big brown bear. Those are common out in California, but he's roaming around that neighborhood and has the attention not only of the news choppers and animal control, but those canines here who want to know what the heck is going on and where this uninvited guest came from. We'll continue to stay on top of the situation and bring you updates as we get them. We'll be right back. Stick around. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour. Tom Haines, meteorologist Alex Forbes here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, tracking our Monday afternoon weather. Alex, not a bad day out there. Always looking for the possibility of rain, and it looks like we might finally get some here.
And honestly, I was just looking at some of the extended stuff. I think into next week, we're definitely going to have it here across Metro Atlanta, North Georgia. But yes, through the week ahead, got a pretty good chance that we're going to time out hour by hour. Let's get to it. 76 in Atlanta right now, 77 in Covington. So after getting down into the 50s and low 40s across the metro area this morning, we have been able to warm rather nicely. 76 here in the city, 75 in Canton, 74 over in Carrollton. So for the remainder of the evening, I think this is going to about do it for us. We're not going to get too much warmer through the afternoon before we begin to cool. The cloud cover that we've seen build in a couple of locations, that's going to begin to clear into the evening tonight. And those clearing skies, of course, going to allow the temperatures to fall here through the next couple of hours and into tomorrow morning. Looking for 54 here in Atlanta, 49 in Carrollton, 51 in Canton, 50 in Eatonton, and 47 over in Blairsville. So that's going to be about 5, 7, 8 degrees warmer than we were this morning here in the metro Atlanta area. Then for tomorrow afternoon, I do expect to hit 80 here in the city, 82 in Covington, 83 in Eatonton, 81 in Griffin, hanging on to 70s in a couple of spots, 79 in Dalton, and 78 over in Carrollton. All right, let's talk about the thing that we all want, and that's rain here in the days to come. There's the extended outlook. Notice we get waves of it here through the next several days. That's going to really begin late Wednesday into Thursday, and then this particular model is trying to bring some more in Thursday night and into Friday. We could pick up several inches of rain here before all is said and done, and whatever we get will be good news, because here's the latest number now for the year 2026. We are more than a half foot below average once again, and yes, that's even with all of the rain that we saw last week factored in. Atlanta officially registering over 2 inches, and keep in mind all of this 6 inches below average. That's on top of finishing 2025 8 inches below average here in metro Atlanta. So in the days to come, all right, bit of roller coaster here. 20% chance of showers. That's mainly going to be late in the day Wednesday. 80% chance of rain Thursday, primarily during the morning hours. Once we get into the afternoon, we will keep that chance of rain around. It's just not going to be quite as high for the remainder of the day. And then as we find our way into Friday and Saturday, still not completely out of the woods, right? 20% chance of showers, but you might notice I've raised the rain chance for Mother's Day Sunday. That's up to 40% now, and a 60% chance of rain on Monday. So let's take a closer look at that Mother's Day weekend forecast. Partly cloudy today. A chance of afternoon rain primarily on Mother's Day. I've seen some models come into better agreements, specifically here this afternoon, about that rain and that lasting into Monday. So I would plan on, for Mother's Day, I'd have plan B in the back of your mind is what I'm trying to say, all right? I'm not canceling any outdoor plans yet, but I do have plan B in the back of my mind, particularly if it's later in the day. And then Monday, I would highlight for some rain here across metro Atlanta and North Georgia, 79, your high temperature there with a 60% chance of rain. So that does appear to be a wet start to the week. Now, I would also just throw out there, right, as we work our way through the weekend and into next week, we get that early week rain out of here. We do have some indications that we're going to be looking at some pretty warm stuff here in metro Atlanta and North Georgia. High temperatures getting into the 90s. And I'm not talking about like 90 on the dot like we've already done this year. I think we're talking about maybe a couple degrees above 90. And it's not going to be just us. It's going to be the whole southeastern United States kind of baking under that springtime sun, if you will, as we work our way, honestly, towards summertime here before all is said and done. So that's the way things shake out here over the next couple of days. 20% chance of rain Wednesday, not something to lose sight of. 80%, that's the storms there on Thursday. And then find our way into the weekend, and we're going to keep those rain chances around with overnight low temperatures in the 50s and 60s here across the metro Atlanta area.
It looks good. And as you say, we may squeak out a little, at least half of a dry Mother's Day.
Half of a dry Mother's Day is what I'm hoping for. But again, it seems to be coming into perspective that Mother's Day is trending wetter. So, so half of a dry might be a little generous, but right now,
you know, Thursday into Friday, if we could get the amount of rain that we're actually anticipating,
that would be. It's not a drought buster, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, Alex, thanks so much.
Yep.
Fire crews in South Georgia, speaking of rain and the necessity of it, trying to get a handle on the wildfire situation as 2 massive wildfires burn following a weekend of favorable weather. Officials say that the Pineland fire now 44% contained, while the Highway 82 fire has reached 75% containment. The progress was enough for authorities to lift mandatory evacuation orders for Brantley County this morning. But officials warn the danger is not over, as rising temperatures and drier conditions could cause the flames to spread again. A mandatory burn ban remains in effect for 91 counties as the southern half of the state continues to battle these fires, which again are about 45% contained right now as fire crews work to get the upper hand on these fires. The dry weather not helping very much. States across the fire-prone West are adding artificial intelligence to try to douse their wildfires and increase detection in hopes of spotting blazes before they spiral out of control. Contractors in Colorado currently deploying ultra-high-resolution AI cameras atop 42-foot towers to monitor for the first signs of smoke. The system combines live rotating camera feeds with satellite data, running it all through an algorithm that flags potential starts for human verification. This is critical because these fires, especially out in California, where it can get very dry and very windy, can get out of control so fast. Sometimes these fires are set accidentally, sometimes they're set on purpose. But the quicker firefighters can zero in and isolate exactly where they're happening, the better.
AI in wildfires, it's no longer just speculative, it's really being used. It's being used in cameras to detect wildfires, it's being used in satellites.
We have cameras that are ultra high resolution. They're continuously rotating all the time, 24/7, by day and by night. And we then have built our own proprietary AI algorithm, and there's multiple. So we have an AI algorithm by day that says smoke or not smoke. So it's continuously looking at that landscape to say, do I see a potential fire start? And at nighttime, we do heat or cold. So we have a different model. And then we also pull in satellite data all the time to see if there is a fire start.
The notification technology on that typically runs on average about 45 minutes faster than the first 911 call would come in.
Would this change the game on incidents like Palisades? I think we've got to be realistic when it's 100-mile-an-hour winds. Those were extremely challenging conditions.
What are the challenges or the gaps? One is the cost. They can be expensive to cover really large areas. Satellites are expensive by nature, and cameras, you might need a lot of them to cover a really large area. False alarms are another challenge. If there are a lot of false alarms, that can be costly in terms of time, attention, and what do you do about it? And then third, there's this challenge of, well, you get a positive signal, what do you do? Even if it's not a false alarm. Do you send help right away? Do you monitor? Should you worry about it? Where do you send help? Do you think about evacuation? All this still requires people and decision support systems. It's not automatic.
Every little bit would help. You remember the California wildfires last year in the Los Angeles area, which wiped out an entire community. So obviously, these fire detection systems are so important. The technology has successfully detected 725 wildfires across the United States alone last year. Cole Allen, the suspect accused in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, has been removed from suicide watch at the D.C. jail. His defense team withdrew a motion to lift the restrictions this morning after learning the 31-year-old is no longer on suicide status. Meanwhile, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro says the prosecutors plan to bring the case before a grand jury this week, hinting that additional charges may be coming. Investigators say that Allen traveled across the country by train from California and booked a hotel room weeks in advance to track the president's movements. Allen was arrested after he reportedly tried to storm a security barricade, leading to an exchange of gunfire with Secret Service agents at the Washington Hilton Hotel. A Dutch cruise ship remains stranded off the coast of Africa as health officials investigate a deadly outbreak of a virus on board. 3 passengers have died and several others are sick on the MV Hondinas, which had departed from Argentina 3 weeks ago, with 150 people on board. The World Health Organization confirmed at least one lab-verified case of the rodent-borne virus, which causes severe and often fatal respiratory illness. The Dutch Foreign Ministry says that an elderly couple from the Netherlands is among the deceased. The ship had recently visited the Antarctic before calling for help near Cape Verde. As we continue here, we're learning in DeKalb County that the minimum wage has gone up. Good news for a lot of workers. Businesses still grappling with the county's decision. We'll tell you all about it as we continue. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes with you live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, bringing you update on all of the information happening on this busy Monday afternoon of news. If you're streaming with us on our Fox Local app on your mobile device, we're certainly glad you're with us this afternoon, or on your TV watching through one of your live channels. We're glad you're here as well on one of our social media sites as well, Fox 5 Atlanta, or on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM. Glad you're listening to us today. To DeKalb County now, where leaders are grappling the decision of whether to raise the minimum wage. They've announced a wage increase to $19 an hour. Ray Urena standing by live for us this afternoon. Ray, we understand that this is now the highest base pay in the metro Atlanta area.
Yeah, Tom, it's one of the highest for a public employer in the metro Atlanta area that DeKalb County is now. Starting last Friday, that's when employees started to see these changes on their paycheck. But the company county leaders said that they raised the minimum wage from $17.68. That was the previous minimum wage here in DeKalb County. Now it's $19 per hour. And CEO Lorraine Cochran-Johnson, she said in a news conference not too long ago that this was long overdue, saying that county governments and governments in general need to invest in their employees. She also said that it is, in the long run, it costs more to have low salaries, but to keep losing people versus increasing their pay and keeping and retaining those employees. Keep in mind, Tom, that the minimum wage federally across the nation remains at $7.25 an hour, unchanged since 2009. And the county officials here in DeKalb County are also addressing compression, salary compression, now that they have increased the pay bump. And they say they are doing this in 2 steps. And here's a snip of that news conference where they described what exactly is happening.
The adjustment was structured into 2 parts. First, all regular status employees earning below $19 an hour were brought up to the new minimum county wage of $19 an hour. 563 employees were impacted. Second, compression adjustments were applied to employees earning up to $22.68 an hour, ensuring that employees already earning just above the new minimum maintain appropriate pay separation. 865 additional employees benefited from this step.
DeKalb County says a total of 1,400 employees across its 34 divisions were affected by this pay bump. And it looks like we had a little technical difficulty there, but 1,400 employees across 34 divisions of DeKalb County, Tom, and this includes sanitation workers, includes court officials, anybody who is under the DeKalb County public umbrella, so to speak, is now getting a pay bump. And the CEO, to wrapping up that news conference not too long ago, she started to challenge other municipalities and county governments across Metro Atlanta to raise their minimum wage to the level that they have raised, saying that they need to start investing in their people as well.
Well, as you say, Ray, this is going to impact thousands of workers, this $19 an hour pay raise, but in a lot of ways make it more attractive for DeKalb County to be able to recruit good workers, people who are attracted to working for the county because of the competitive pay. All of this in the shadow of, this AI revolution, which threatens to eliminate a lot of jobs. So while that's happening on one side, you have DeKalb County leading this minimum wage increase charge in our state. As you said, one of just a couple of counties to offer this kind of pay increase.
Yeah, Tom, and CEO Lorraine Cochran-Johnson said in the news conference that ever since they started upping the pay for the police officers, they've seen a higher retention of police officers in DeKalb County solely because of the pay bump. And she alluded to, and I'll repeat this again, that it costs them more to lose these employees, because you got to think about this, Tom. They got to invest all of the intellectual knowledge, the actual training knowledge into these employees. And if they go somewhere else that's offering a higher pay, then DeKalb loses the tens of thousands of dollars that they've invested in that one employee because they want to go somewhere else. And that's just not a problem. That's a problem that not only DeKalb County is facing, but also governments across the U.S. are facing as well. So a bit of good news, and that's what they hope to accomplish with this pay bump, is to help and keep these and retain these employees so they continue working here in DeKalb County, providing these essential services that a lot of people rely on.
As you say, that employee retention is it's more expensive for a company or a county to go out and try to hire somebody than it is to simply retain good workers and pay them what they deserve. Ray Urena for us this afternoon in DeKalb. Ray, thanks. I want to take you back out to California. We've had our eye on this bear running wild through several neighborhoods out there, in and out, attracting the attention of animal rescue folks, dogs in the neighborhood watching this bear. Well, take a look. You see all of the rescue crew around this bear. They found it, they tranquilized it, and now they're getting it out of there. All right, so bear's not such an unusual thing in California, but when it starts, and this was a big bear, when it starts wandering in and out of neighborhoods, it becomes a problem. And so the news choppers were out above the situation, and they finally were able to tranquilize it, capture it, and now they'll undoubtedly look at the size of that bear. That is one giant animal, all right? And it's going to take a nice nap now before it's released back out into the wild, into its natural habitat. All right, so good news out of California. I want to head to Roswell now, where officials are cutting the ribbon on a new 395-space parking deck downtown. Let's get out to Eli Jordan out there for the grand opening. Eli?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, they've had a ribbon cutting out here in Roswell for the new parking deck, 395 spaces, $14.5 million parking deck. And you're asking me, why am I standing here at the edge of a gravel parking lot? Well, it has a lot to do with the parking deck, but let me show you the parking deck first. So I'm out here on Green Street, which is right here, and there's the $14.5 million parking deck. It's nice, it looks great, it's awesome. 5 levels, 395 parking spaces. It's open, but while it was being built, people have been parking here, and this has been a parking spot area for quite a while. There's a lot of eateries around here that were close to Canton Street, and other places around here where there's a lot of little shops and all that stuff, and people park there. Well, now that the big parking deck is open, they're going to close down Green Street right here, and they're going to close this lot down. So after today, you cannot park here anymore. It's going to be a staging area for all the construction while they dig up Green Street right here and put in underground utilities. The bigger walkway all the way up to Cherry Way. It's going to be a one-way. Green Street's going to be a complete one-way from Woodstock Road all the way down to Alpharetta Road, Highway 9 right there. And so you'll have to make adjustments now. You're used to parking over here, but now you'll park in the brand new parking deck right there. And it's going to be free while you park in that parking deck. Free parking while they do the Green Street revitalization here. Free parking in that parking deck. So don't worry about that. But once this Green Street revitalization is wrapped up and they have it all nice and pretty and finished and lit up and nice walkways through here to get to shops, are they going to start charging for people to park there? Well, I spoke to the mayor, Mary Robichaud, and this is what she had to say about that.
With this deck, I think what we're going to do is collect a lot of really good data for like almost 8 months. So we'll be able to make some really good determinations. And really what we want to do is make sure that this deck, we're able to maintain it to the level it should be. So as we all know, there's going to be maintenance costs associated with it. So we just have to make sure we figure out the best way for everyone involved that we maintain those costs. That's really what our goal is. It's not to make a huge amount of money off this deck. It's to make sure that it maintains the level that we expect and that it can be self-sustaining as best as we can make it, because that's just the way we want it to be.
and the way they want it to be. It's open and it's free parking right now, and it also has electrical car charging stations there. There's about half a dozen sitting out there that I've seen so far, and so that's pretty cool. But it's free parking right now. When you do drive up, you will pull a ticket, and then you'll use that ticket to get out, but it's free of charge for the next 6 to 8 months. They're using that data from your ticket, how long you stay here, what time you come in, how long you stay, when do you leave, to give them a better idea of how this brand new $14.5 million parking deck is being used to then determine what kind of charging rates that they are going to make. But meanwhile, while Green Street right here is going to be all dug up all the way from Alpharetta Road Street all the way up to Cherry Way, free parking there, and you can no longer park in the gravel parking lot over here, but there's free parking here at the brand new parking deck here in Roswell. Tom?
As you said, it's all in the name of progress. Roswell is such a busy place, and the city obviously wants to support local businesses out there and make it easy for folks to park while all this construction's going on. So it's a good gesture on the part of city officials to make that available and free for use while all of that is going on in the Green Street area. Eli Jordan live for us this afternoon. Eli, thanks so much. When we continue, we're going to head out to a great project that our Chris Rosenthal is at this afternoon. It's a Habitat for Humanity project where they are busy building homes this afternoon. It's sweat equity, and it's for a good cause, and we're going to take you there live when we continue. Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you being here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Thousands of volunteers are out in Southwest Atlanta this afternoon for the Jimmy Carter Work Project. What is that? The late former president, his heart was in building homes for those less fortunate through the Habitat for Humanity program. He built countless homes, too many to count. He and both his wife, the late Rosalind Carter, were out there doing the work, hammering the nails, moving plywood around. And our Chris Rosenthal is out there at one such project. This was near and dear to the late president's heart, Chris, and it feels like his spirit is alive and well out there.
Yeah, it is alive and well. And some of these volunteers actually have done multiple projects over the years and had worked on job sites with the Carters. But this is a special project going on all week. They're wrapping up for today, but building 24 homes. Nothing quite like this, of this magnitude, have they done in a very, very long time. Hard to believe that just this morning, these were just concrete slabs. And volunteers, about 800 or so volunteers today, and every day about 800, 1,000 volunteers coming out here to this site. It's called Langston Park. It's a full habitat community here. Usually habitat, we're used to them doing one home here or there, but this is a full community, which really gives a much more comprehensive feel, a much more sense of investment here for the home buyers. And I say home buyers because the people that will occupy these homes, they do buy the homes, they do get interest-free loans, they do have to go through programs, training, sweat equity, they have to help out on other habitat projects, and many of them are here today working on their homes. But so volunteers, like we said, about 1,000 or so every day coming out helping make this happen. And I got a couple volunteers here. These guys, pretty special guys. You guys have known each other. Got Tim and Ross. You guys have known each other. Literally, I've seen the picture when you guys were babies in the cradle.
That's right.
And now you're here, 67 years later, building a home together. How did you guys, come to building habitat homes?
Well, we've both enjoyed habitat all our lives, and the mission of Habitat. Ross has worked locally in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for the last 40 years, and I've worked 4 Carter builds. This is my 4th Carter build, and we enjoyed doing the Carter builds. I was telling Ross about that, and he wanted to come to one. So when he got a little bit closer to retirement, we decided to apply and come together and try to work on the same house as some team leaders, and also we're enjoying being with each other for the whole week. So it's great to work with the other volunteers and have a great opportunity to build a house for someone who's deserving and has worked hard to become debt-free and get all ready. And so we have a beautiful home buyer that we've been working with today, and she's just going to make a beautiful home in this house.
And you said you've worked with the Carters before, and you've been with them on these sites. What was that like?
Wonderful. Jimmy Carter gave sermons at the 2018 and 2019 builds in Mishawaka and also Nashville, and it's just very motivating, asking people what kind of lives they can make a difference in the world. They can also make a difference in their life by being involved and giving back. And actually, they always say that they get more than they give when they come, and that's the way we feel too. So it's just a great place to be, and it's like everyone can catch hepatitis and work here together and become better people.
Yeah, and Ross, I mean, you're here with your friend. This is the first one you've done with your friend together, right?
That's correct.
And you're a carpenter by trade. I mean, how does it feel to be out here?
Well, I like giving back, and I've always been the kind of guy that gets involved. And being here, I'm amazed because at home we got maybe 20 volunteers. There's hundreds of people here to coordinate this. It's just an amazing situation to watch. They have crews that are involved with just nothing but security. Some are watching out for our safety. Some are watching out to make sure we have the right materials and tools. It's just huge. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is an amazing undertaking. It's like a little construction city over here, huh?
When we started this morning, this was just a flat subfloor, and all the walls are up. The front porch is up. The trusses are up, and they have a beautiful zip system that'll make it insulated and weatherproof, and it's going to make a beautiful place.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. It's so much work in progress just today, and by the end of the week, should be done with this, and hopefully giving the keys away, they say, to these homes by June, and not just homes here, or not just houses here, but also townhouses, which is something new for them as well. Again, they'll be here all week. There's celebrities here. I saw Jasmine Guy here earlier working on a home, and just tremendous amount of volunteers here. Some are individuals, some come with company projects, sponsorships here. It takes a lot of sponsors as well to make something like this happen.
Yeah, all hands on deck, and everyone is welcome to participate. This is such a great cause. One, as you said, was near and dear to former President Jimmy Carter's heart. And I loved hearing from those guys how he got out there and inspired them to do what was so important to the late president, Chris Rosenthal. Chris, thanks. And thank you for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haynes. Don't go anywhere. The news continues right here, right now.